प्राण सखा अयोध्या शिरोमणि दशरथ रामा अयोध्या शिरोमणि दशरथ रामा अयोध्या शिरोमणि दशरथ रामा
Shri गुरु महिमा गाओ, 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 गुरु महिमा सद्गुरु साई अनंत गुरु, सद्गुरु साई अनंत गुरु, सद्गुरु साई अनंत गुरु, सद्गुरु साई अनंत गुरु, ब्रह्मानंद अनंत गुरु, ब्रह्मानंद अनंत गुरु, ब्रह्मानंद अनंत गुरु, ब्रह्मानंद अनंत गुरु, सर्वधर्म प्रिया साई गुरु, सर्वधर्म प्रिया साई गुरु, सर्वधर्म प्रिया साई गुरु, सर्वधर्म प्रिया साई गुरु, गुरु की वाणी गाओ, गुरु की वाणी गाओ, गुरु की वाणी गाओ, गुरु की वाणी गाओ, गुरु महिमा गाओ, गुरु महिमा गाओ, गुरु महिमा गाओ, गुरु महिमा सद्गुरु साई अनंत गुरु, सद्गुरु साई अनंत गुरु, ब्रह्मानंद अनंत गुरु, ब्रह्मानंद अनंत गुरु, सर्वधर्म प्रिया साई गुरु, सर्वधर्म प्रिया साई गुरु, 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 सत्य साई गुरु, सत्य साई गुरु, सर्वधर्म प्रिया साई गुरु,
अंतर्यामी साई अंतर्यामी साई पूर्ण ब्रह्मावतारी पूर्ण ब्रह्मावतारी हे गिरिधारी हृदय विहारी कृष्णा कुंज विहारी हे गिरिधारी हृदय विहारी कृष्णा कुंज विहारी अंतर्यामी साई गोपाला लीलाधारी गोपाला लीलाधारी हे गोपी मन संचारी हे गोपी मन संचारी मधुसूदना मुरारी मधुसूदना मुरारी हे गिरिधारी हृदय विहारी कृष्णा कुंज विहारी हे गिरिधारी हृदय विहारी कृष्णा कुंज विहारी अंतर्यामी साई पूर्ण ब्रह्मावतारी हे गिरिधारी हृदय विहारी कृष्णा कुंज विहारी अंतर्यामी साई गोपाला लीलाधारी हे गोपी मन संचारी मधुसूदना मुरारी मधुसूदना कुञ्ज विहारी हे गिरिधारी हृदय विहारी कृष्णा कुञ्ज विहारी कृष्णा कुञ्ज विहारी अंतर्यामी साई।
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our collective reverential pranams at the divine lotus feet of Bhagawan Shri Sathya Sai Baba and our reverential pranams at the lotus feet of Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai. Respected elders, brothers, sisters, staff, students, and everyone watching us live from around the world, Sai Ram and a very good evening.
Bhagawan Baba, through this Telugu couplet, explains the purpose and reason for the advent of an avatar. He says, Avatarinchuta anutalo arthamemi, Janulapai preeti vatsalya paratatoda, Vari sthayiki daivambu vachu bhuviki, Jiva pragnato patuga daiva pragnya. It means, the divine descends on earth solely out of his immense love and affection for mankind. He comes down to human level with both individual and divine consciousness.
As Sadhguru reiterated this morning, love is all that matters and love is all that there is. This is the love that Bhagawan expounded, exemplified, and embodied through practice and principle. As his devotees and followers, the only fitting tribute we can offer is to simply follow in his footsteps of love and service selflessly. A human birth is the highest blessing, for it offers us the rare chance to seek the ultimate truth. To be in the company of a master is divine grace, but to have the refuge of not one, but two divine masters is a call to awaken and act. Therefore, we are twice blessed. We have with us a shining example of our Sadguru, who has walked this path to become one with his master and is today hand-holding each and every one of us. Such is the compassion of the divine, and so this sacred life must not and cannot be wasted.
As we commemorate the 99th birth anniversary of Bhagawan, it is also a countdown to a milestone event in the history of humankind, the centenary celebrations next year. Through his exemplary life, Bhagawan taught the highest ideals of selfless love and service to mankind. This momentous occasion is therefore a call to action for each one of us to step up, embrace his vision, shoulder the responsibility of his work of bettering lives by spreading love, serving others, and living with a purpose.
For the world will know of such a master who lived and loved only through our example. Let us all recommit ourselves to this divine calling by doing all in our capacity and more. For in loving all shall we adore him, and in serving all shall we worship him. We will begin the program with Vedic chants by our girl students, and they will chant the Madhusudam.
मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि सूर्यो भ्राजो दधातु हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु।
It is said, words have the power to ignite change. And on this auspicious evening, we pray to Sadhguru to unveil a collection of books in various languages. With the release of these books, we honor a mission that goes far beyond pages, spreading the timeless message of love and service to every corner of the globe, uniting hearts, inspiring minds, and sparking inspiration in countless lives.
Shri Sathya Sai Premamrutham Prakashana, established in 2012, has more than 25 teams in India and around the globe who translate the divine discourses and books authored by Sadhguru into major world languages so that they may be preserved for posterity.
Since 2012, more than 500 books have been published, and on this auspicious occasion, the global teams of the Shri Sathya Sai Premamrutham Prakashana humbly offer a total of 24 publications in 14 world languages and 2 Indian languages.
We will now commence the book launch program with global teams presenting their offerings to Sadhguru for blessings. From Netherlands, the first team will present Shri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 15, an audio book Shri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 15 in the Dutch language, published by Sai Anandam, Netherlands. Next, from Germany, the team has translated Shri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 20 into German, and this is published by Om Verlag. From Greece is Sadhguru Speaks Volume 1 and Sanathana Dharma Simplified Part 1 in Greek. These books are published by Trismegistos Publishing. We have the representatives for Greece.
In Hindi comes the offering of God Management, published by Shri Sathya Sai Premamrutham Prakashana. Next, we have the team from Italy with Bhagavad Gita volumes 1 to 4, a summary by Sadhguru Shri Madhusudan Sai in Italian, published by Sai Prema Publication. In Kannada, 2 books have been translated, Sadguru Speaks Volume 3 and Ishavasya Upanishad, published by the Shri Sathya Sai Premamrutham Prakashana.
The team from Lithuania will next present Sri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 19, translated into Lithuanian. The book is published by Sai Prema. Spirituality 101, translated into Macedonian, is the next offering by representatives for Macedonia, and this book is published by the Divine Love Association. From Nepal is Bhagavad Gita volumes 1 to 4, a summary by Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai, and the book has been translated into Nepali. The books are published by Society for Selfless Service.
The team from Poland has 5 offerings for release. Sadguru Speaks Volume 3 and 4, Spirituality 101, and 2 audiobooks, Sri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 19 and Sri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 20 in Polish. These are published by Stowarzyszenie Mistrza Prema. From Russia is an audiobook, Sadguru Speaks Volume 1 in Russian, and published by Prema Publishing House. Next, we have representatives from Serbia with the offering of the Sri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 4, translated into Serbian, published by Udruženje Sanathana Dharma.
Sri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 10 has been translated into Sinhala, and this will be offered for release by representatives for Sri Lanka. Next from Slovenia is Sri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 15, translated in Slovenian, and this is published by Društvo Uvacha.
With the collaboration between the teams from Argentina and Spain, we have Sri Sathya Sai Uvacha Volume 13 and Volume 14 translated into Spanish. The books are published by Sai Prema Foundation of Health, Education and Human Values. The latest publication which will be released today is Sadhguru Speaks Volume 5, humbly presented by the Shri Sathya Sai Premamrutham Prakashana. It is a compilation of divine discourses delivered by Sadhguru Shri Madhusudan Sai between September and October 2019.
We now invite on stage the entire Sai Prakashana Global team for a group photograph with Sadhguru. Please put your hands together for this wonderful and very dedicated team.
May we now request Dr. C. Sreenivas to address all of us this evening. A former student and servitor of Bhagawan Baba, he currently serves as the chairman of the Shri Sathya Sai Health and Education Trust, spearheading the global chain of the Sai Sanjeevani Heart Care Hospitals. Dr. C. Sreenivas.
Most beloved, revered and dearest Bhagawan, and now ever so dear to each and every one of us, beyond words that he is close to us, revered dear Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai, beloved brother Narasimhamurti, sisters and brothers from so many parts of the world, and all sitting here in this august sacred hall, faculty, students, young boys and girls. We are on 23rd November 2024. It is celebrated ever so much across the world as that memorable day and occasion when the divine chose to take a human form 99 years back. Taking a cue from revered Narasimhamurti, and something that one experiences when we go about doing what we do. A feature that is very evident is how many were blessed, privileged, and sacredly honored to have seen, to have interacted, or possibly lived with this one of an only kind of a phenomenon that walked this earth. Is something that keeps coming up. And through the passage of time and the given shelf lives that human beings have, many have only heard of Sathya Sai, some possibly through their families, elders who were blessed to see him and live with him. And to many, it is through the message of love and service that comes out far and wide in the world today. For a moment, I will not touch on the mystical or the transient or the transcendental. If with dear Swami's permission and all of your permission, I could relate a bit of my own association with beloved Sathya Sai. I think I will be doing justice to this glorious day, more so because I see the increasing numbers of the young that are coming into the fold of revered Sadhguru's mission. It was in June 1971 that I came to Vrindavan to take my education at Baba's feet in Sathya Sai College. And my blessed journey till the final moment in April 2011-24 was an unbroken association with beloved Sathya Sai, day in and day out. Why and how he bestowed that honor that every day I lived with him, I ate with him, I traveled with him, I was blessed to work with him for those 40 long years, uninterrupted. And when one saw the grandiose ceremony of the birthday being celebrated today, and so magnificently that Sadhguru chose to honor the legends that we all saw today and have been inspired by, having been blessed to have played a role in several physical birthday celebrations of beloved Sathya Sai for several years, I thought I must share with the younger generation who really, to one's mind and comprehension, was Sathya Sai, because to increasingly many of us, he will be a name eternally being mentioned. Like the great quote from the South Indian poet, Sathya Sai fits into that description of being yantamatramu talachituvo antamatrame nenu. How much ever the comprehension and imagination of your mind allows you will alone be what I mean to you. That magnificence, enormity, and sublimity of that great phenomenon can only be experienced by the comprehension that we have in our minds and we are allowed to have. again with dear Swami's permission, and if I may be pardoned for doing this, I'll relate a few incidents of my life which will give the younger generation a glimpse of what this magnificent phenomenon was who chose to walk this earth. Sathya Sai was all powerful. I'm repeating, Sathya Sai was all powerful. What did the comprehension of my mind allow me to make this statement? To the undone, if it gets done, and to a myriad number of times, I will pick one incident. There was a young girl, not even possibly 20, who came with a whole bunch of papers and a medical file which stated all but certainly that she was to be diagnosed with a rare form of severe cancer. Now this lady came, and because of the duty that one was blessed to have, it was part of my work to sometimes mention to revered Swami what was brought to me. And I still remember he was reading a paper, not a newspaper, a paper, and I prayed to Swami by putting that file on the table and stating that, dear Swami, this young lady has been crying and lamenting that she is possibly afflicted with a very rare and a life-threatening form of cancer, was all I could muster to tell him. Sisters and brothers, and particularly my young students, Swami did not even so much as lift his eye, and he made one statement when he said, of course in Telugu, with the affirmation and confidence the like of which only he can, when he said, "Idi avvadaniki veelu ledu." This cannot ever happen to that girl, was all that he said. She is, for 30 years now, she is alive. She is an ebullient lady today, and what was firmly diagnosed as a threatening disease, by one utterance of a statement, made him do what he does. Just to again reiterate, dear Swami, I was traveling with him from Bangalore to Hyderabad on a flight. We were just three of us. He was sitting on the seat in front of me, and I was sitting behind him. And he was looking out of the window of the aircraft, and it crossed my mind that this was exactly the thought in my mind, that Swami must be thinking something. This was exactly the sentence that my mind made up, and it said, Swami must be thinking something. Lo and behold, from the tiny part between one seat to the other, he turned around and said, Sathya Sai does not think. Sathya Sai wills. Sathya Sai does not think. Sathya Sai wills. He was all-knowing. Why do I again say that? Because these are not mere words. One experienced this. And as you have so many of these students and one sees them when they sit with Sadhguru, for the love of anything, you try to pull out one of the students, he's not going to come. So a similar instance happened in Vrindavan when a student was sitting with Swami and Swami tells him, "Are, you're sitting here? You should be going and seeing off your father." Because his father did come and Swami is telling him, "Go and see off your father." Now this was peculiar because the father would keep coming regularly to Vrindavan, and for Swami to make an utterance, "Go and see off your father," was strange because he would come back again on the next visit. So the boy chose to continue to sit there, and Swami said, "Naleda, I told you to go and see off your father. Go and see him off." So the boy had to obey and he goes. And in those days, Brother Narasimhamurti would know and Sadhguru would also know, there was a railway gate in Vrindavan and it did close. So the boy got a good 20 minutes to sit with the father. And I believe they only spoke about Swami and Swami and Swami, and they came back. And Swami asks the boy, "Did you see off father?" He says, "Yes, Swami, I went and saw off my father." Next morning, his father died. This was Sathya Sai's all-knowing. He was so particular that the child must go and see the father because he would never see him again. Sathya Sai was also all-pervasive. He was all-pervading. When he uttered sentences like, "I am everywhere," there couldn't be a more truthful utterance than that. And again, pardon me, I'll give you a personal example this time. It would make a lot of happiness, I would say, to the medical students because they also occasionally go to the Dr. C. Rajeshwari block, I reckon. It was the first year of the Akhanda Bhajan, the concept of 24 hours of chanting the Lord's name. I was then warden of the Whitefield Hostel. So we went to Prashanti Nilayam for the bhajan. And like all students and staff included, you ensure you're always doing bhajan at that time when Swami or Sadhguru will come. Because that is naturally important because you should see Sadhguru or Swami, and more importantly, Sadhguru or Swami should see you. So it was around 4:45 in the morning that one was seated in Prashanti Nilayam. Swami did come out at about 4:50 or thereabouts and went into his chambers when in a short while somebody comes out and where I was seated and then said and uttered that most magical statement to any one of us here, "Swami is calling you." There could not be a more musical sentence which we can hear than that, which is, Swami is calling you. So at 4:45 in the morning, Swami calls me. He was sitting in that room and he says, I went and saw your mother. Now I didn't know what to make of it. At 4:45 to tell me that I went and saw your mother. Number one, my mother was serving in the Whitefield Hospital. The time is 4:45 a.m. in the morning. And Swami makes this statement. And those days there was no cell phones, obviously. There were no communications. And much later in the day, I received the trunk call. I just made a statement, Swami is all pervasive. And this happened directly to my mother. When she said at 4:45, when she was doing her prayer, which was in those days in Vrindavan, Whitefield, she heard that call, which is a call familiar to her, that is, Dr. Amma, Dr. Amma. Now, her first thought was to a gynecologist, if some are sitting here at 4:45 when there is a call, is there must be a call to duty that some child or some lady must be in advanced labor, you'll have to go. So she was in her dress and she peered out through the doors and the call repeated, Dr. Amma, Dr. Amma. Now, you have to answer the call of duty. So she just threw a towel around her and walked to the door. So we had a small 2-room cottage and she went. And then those days it was dimly lit. And she gently opened the door to see which family or mother is there. And there, sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, please hold your breath. Swami is standing in flesh and blood. Swami is standing in flesh and blood. Her son is in Puttaparthi, where Sathya Sai says, నేను అమ్మని చూసొచ్చాను. And my mother still told me that he was tapping his feet to some bhajan that seemed to be going on. And lo and behold, bhajan was going on in Puttaparthi. My mother was first a scientist. She was a deep spiritualist, revered to Swami, but she was first a woman of science. She bent down to take namaskar, as we would say, and she held Swami's feet in flesh and blood. Swami was there and Swami was here. This was that phenomenon that walked this earth. He was all powerful, he was all knowing, he was all pervading. But what is it now? Through his beloved son, Sadguru, it has only become a continuum. Because the greatest lesson to be learnt was Sathya Sai was always willing was always ready and was always there whenever, wherever you needed him. Just imagine a life that he's always there, always ready, always willing, anytime, any part of the day or night, wherever you may be, he was always there, ready, willing, waiting for what he could do to you to bring joy, to bring a smile, to help you, to guide you, to look after you, to direct you in your life. Where will you get a combination of this sort of being all-powerful, all-pervasive, all-knowing, and on this side, so humble and so devoted to each one of us to be ever ready to love us, to guide us, to make our lives better? This was that great phenomenon that Sathya Sai was. Sathya Sai was, is, and will be. And what Sadhguru so beautifully mentioned in the morning, Sathya Sai lives in each one of us as him in us. So the future is of how birthday celebrations are going to be celebrated will be that we will be always ready, always available, always willing to make a difference in somebody's life, to put a smile on somebody's life, to lift up somebody somewhere forlorn in this world. And that is how Sathya Sai will live on and on and on through each and every one of you. God bless and Sai.
Thank you, sir, for your very illuminating talk and enthralling us with those wonderful anecdotes and experiences. May we now invite Shri Narasimhamurti, Chancellor, Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, to share a few words. He served as warden in several educational campuses of Bhagawan Baba and was also blessed to be the biographer of Bhagawan Baba. Shri Narasimhamurti, please.
ಶಿರಡಿ ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ ತಂದೆಯಾಗಿ ಬಂದ ಶ್ರೀ ಸಾಯಿಬಾಬಾ, ಪ್ರತಿ ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ ತಾಯಿಯಾಗಿ ಬಂದ ಶ್ರೀ ಸತ್ಯಸಾಯಿ, ಸತ್ಯಸಾಯಿ ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸದ್ಗುರುವಾಗಿ ಬಂದ ಶ್ರೀ ಮಧುಸೂದನ ಸಾಯಿ, ಮನುಕುಲವ ಉದ್ಧರಿಸಲು ಧರೆಗಿಳಿದ ಸಾಯಿತ್ರಯರ ಅನಂತ ಕರುಣೆಗೆ ಶರಣು ಶರಣು. For those of you who don't understand this most mellifluous and fragrant Kannada, I would like to translate what I said. As I had said earlier, on the eve of every birthday, either of Sathya Sai Baba or Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, I became a poet. So this is my own composition. I surrender to the infinite compassion of that inscrutable Sai principle which came as father at Shirdi village as Sri Sai Baba, which came as mother in the village of Puttaparthi, and which came as Sadguru in the village of Muddenahalli, Sathya Sai Grama, I surrender to His infinite compassion. Brother Sreenivas, Muddenahalli and myself form a love triangle. When he uttered those words, Swami is calling you, I remembered that he said the same words to me on 1st of August 1983 after booking a lightning call from Whitefield. There was no mobile phone. You won't understand, boys and girls. You will never understand those days. We had to book a call on the telephone. You have to dial and wait. And you can't get up and go also because suddenly call comes, you are not there, you will miss the call. Sometimes it would be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Therefore, the telephone department had 3 kinds of calls. Ordinary call, you have to wait for hours. Urgent call, you have to wait for only 1 hour. Lightning call, you have to wait only for a few minutes. So there was a lightning call from Whitefield. And I was in the agricultural forum here at Muddenahalli. And suddenly the office boy comes, sir, there is a lightning call from Whitefield. And Baba was at Whitefield. I came running. Those days I could run. And picked up the call. And it was Brother Sreenivas on the other side. Sir, Swami is calling you. There was trepidation in my heart. When Swami calls, he calls you for only 2 reasons, both extreme reasons. One is you have committed a blunder. Then he calls you. Or you have done something very dear to him, then he calls you. Those days I could not think of anything which I had done which was very dear to him. Therefore, it should be the other one, I thought. Said, sir, Swami is calling me. Yes, sir, Swami is calling you. And you know how Sreenivas is so very tactful. He's calling you, please come today only. Yes, sir, definitely I will come. But I was so anxious. Sir, do you by any chance know the reason why he is calling you? He said, who can know why Swami calls anyone? Sir, please tell me. And then he said, at least, to stop my palpitation, he said, Swami is going to give you a new assignment. Sir, what is that? I asked. I think better Swami only tells you. So I ran to Puttaparthi. That is how through Sri Sreenivas Baba pulled me out of Muddenahalli for 27 years. When I went there, Baba told me, Narasimhamurti, I still remember very graphically, he was at that time residing in Rajamata Bangala by the side of the Vrindavan ashram because Baba's old mandir was demolished and Trayi Mandir, the new mandir, was being constructed. I still remember, and Brother Sreenivas will also remember, Baba had called all the lecturers of Whitefield College, most of his students, and Brother Sreenivas was also there. And I was carrying a book. Both Sathya Sai Baba and Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai have called me a bookworm. So I carried a book. And Baba saw, what is that book? Swami, Lost Days of Socrates, written by Plato. Baba said, wrong pronunciation. It is not Socrates, it is Socrates. Still remember? And for 1 hour it went on, and I was wondering why Baba had called me. And it was darshan time. And the blue Fiat car, which was driven by Paliwala, the bearded Paliwala, was waiting outside. And Baba said, it is darshan time. Then he called me inside. He called me inside into the dining hall. And he sat down on one chair. I was standing. He pulled me and made me sit on another chair, which I had never done in front of Baba till then. Held my hands and asked me, Narasimhamurti, will you come to Puttaparthi? Yes, Swami. Not for a ride. You have to leave Muddenahalli and come to Puttaparthi and stay there and do my work. Are you ready? Yes, Swami. And then Baba said, నీవు ఇట్లా చెప్తావని నాకు తెలుసు. I know that you would say this. And then he went out, I followed him. He took me for darshan in the same Fiat car, I still remember. And next day came back, it's all history. Why I am saying is, it was Brother Sreenivas who pulled me out of Muddenahalli. It was Baba. But for Baba, I would never have left Muddenahalli. Never have, I am telling you. If somebody had offered me billions of dollars also, I would not leave. Because it will be such a beautiful place. Most wonderful place. I love each and every hills that we see around Muddenahalli. And more importantly, I had my brothers, younger brothers. I was the eldest at 28 in Muddenahalli at that point of time. All were younger to me. They loved me so much. We loved each other so much. I would not have left. So that is one side. Why I say a triangle is, after Baba left his mortal body and came here on the subtle form, in the subtle form, and Sadguru was his chosen communicator, first person Sai Baba remembered was Brother Sreenivas. Now it was my turn. I called up Sreenivas and said, Sir, Swami is calling you. He didn't ask a second question. Because I still remember on 27th of April, when world saw the most beautiful form of Sathya Sai Baba for the last time, before it was buried in the bowels of the earth, we were sitting, two of us sitting in bhajan hall for many hours without knowing what to do, because Baba was everything to many of us. Many devotees are sitting here, and we had nothing in our lives. We were lost. He didn't ask a question when I said. And he came, and he did not come empty-handed. He came with a tiffin carrier of lunch for Sathya Sai Baba. Whenever Baba came to Whitefield, his wife Shalini was cooking food. So when he heard Baba is calling, how can I go empty-handed? He brought lunch for Baba. Do you believe this? See, that is Sreenivas. That is why he has done what he has done. That was his faith. When he called me, Swami is calling you, I went with that faith. When I called him, Swami is calling you, he came. We can write books about both Sathya Sai Baba and Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai. I have written in 5 volumes my experiences with Sathya Sai Baba, including the 3 biographies, about which I have a very comical incident. When the 3 volumes of biography were published, blessed by Baba, In fact, Baba told me, see Narasimhamurti, 25 years ago, Kasturi wrote my biography. Now can you write? He asked me. It was actually a thunderbolt for me. I never ever thought. I said, Swami, if you want, I will write. I wrote. And one of my very good friends who read these 3 books came to me one day with so much of emotion and said, Sir, I read all the 3 books. They're so very wonderful, he said. And then he said, but I did not understand anything about Sathya Sai Baba. I was wondering, wonderful books, right? But I did not understand anything about Sathya Sai Baba. I told him, see my good friend, you read the 3 books written by me and you did not understand anything. I've written the 3 books and I also don't understand anything about Sathya Sai Baba. It's a fact. Who understood anything about Sathya Sai Baba? This morning, Dr. Shashidhar Prasad, who was our Vice Chancellor at Puttaparthi and Whitefield, told me something which shocked me. He has recorded in his diary, Baba was admitted to hospital on 28th of March 2011 and he left the body on 24th of April. On 16th of March, just 10-11 days before he was admitted to hospital, Sathya Sai Baba called Shashidhar Prasad, which I never knew till this morning. In fact, yesterday evening he told me. Sathya Sai Baba called him and said, move Narasimhamurti from Whitefield to Muddenahalli. Was it not a master plan? Before he left this world, he wanted to see that I move back to Muddenahalli for doing what is happening here. It was a master plan. It was Khalil Gibran who said about Jesus Christ. He has written a very soul-stirring biography, kind of biography of Jesus Christ, Jesus, the Son of Man. Our students should read it. Everyone should read it. Whoever is devoted to Jesus should definitely read it. He said somewhere in the book, we pass with the passing rivers and shall remain nameless. But those who crossed him in the midstream shall be remembered for crossing him in the midstream. Beautiful words. This life is like a river. It flows on. We pass with the passing rivers and shall remain nameless. In spite of all the work we do, in spite of all the money that we earn, in spite of all the positions of power and authority we adorn, we remain nameless. We will be remembered only if we can cross in the midstream of life someone like Jesus Christ, someone like Sathya Sai Baba, someone like Sadhguru Shri Madhusudan Sai. When you cross a personality like that in the midstream of life, you will be remembered forever. You have to cross him in the midstream. Look at the wonderful privilege some of us, we senior people had. We not only crossed Sathya Sai Baba in the midstream, we worked with him. We loved him. He loved us. He fed us. We crossed someone like Sadhguru Shri Madhusudan Sai in the midstream of life. Not only that we just crossed him in the midstream of life, we are in his boat. All of us are in his boat. We are in a ship. What a wonderful opportunity. What a great good fortune. Nobody can understand him. Nobody can understand either Sathya Sai Baba or Madhusudan Sai. I have written books about Sathya Sai Baba. I have not understood him. I am writing books about Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. I have written, in fact, one published one also. But I have not understood him. Just to illustrate this point, I will just quote only one experience of mine and conclude, because it is the inspiration of Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, which makes us poets, which makes us orators, unending orators. Only one incident we can't understand. Why we can't understand? It was always puzzling. One incident that Dr. Vinayak Krishna Gokak told me, another incident of my own experience, I'll just tell you. When I was warden at Prashant Nilayam, Baba was at Whitefield for about 6 to 7 months when some work was happening in the Sai Kulvan Thal in Puttaparthi. That was the time one of our boys in the hostel, he developed chicken pox. So immediately doctors told me, you just separate him, isolate him. I isolated him in the college from the hostel. And that boy was always crying, sir, what is my misfortune? Baba is here, I can't have his darshan. Because the chicken pox is very contagious, especially to children. One day he cried and told me, sir, I will write a letter to Baba, please give it to him. He wrote a letter and gave it to me. I took it to Baba. As soon as Baba saw me, he started talking in this vein. He said, see, Narasimhamurti, some boys write letters. Same thing they keep writing again and again and again. Please don't bring any letters. His letter was in my pocket. That boy's letter. I had promised him because he was so downcast. He could not come for Baba's darshan. Then what will I do with the letter? When Baba says that, boys keep writing the same thing again and again, can I take the letter out of my pocket and give it to him? Wisely, I kept it. And then said Swami, one of the boys is feeling very bad. He's having chicken pox. He is in the college. He wanted to come for darshan, but I said, that's a nice thing. And Baba gave me vibhuti. I went back. First thing I did, went to college. Because it's like the last sheep and the last coin. Even if 99 boys are all right, one boy is not all right. Warden's attention is only on that one boy. That is so with Swami. I went to him. First thing he asked, sir, did Swami read my letter? I am not used to telling lies. What would I say? I didn't answer his question. I said, Baba has given vibhuti for you, and gave it. He was very happy. And I came back. The letter was in the pocket. I came back to my room, and then I was wondering what I would do with that letter. What would I do with this letter? Shall I give it back to him? This boy will be disappointed. I can't give it to Baba. I also got a thought that I'll put it in the post box writing Baba's address. But I thought it was not right. Then I thought, no use of this letter. I wanted to tear it. I tell you, my hands were very clean. Took the letter, tore it into half. Immediately my hands were full of vibhuti. My hands were full of vibhuti. I had seen this Baba doing it, but now it happened to me. My hands were full of vibhuti. Baba knew it. Baba knew that what I was doing was wrong. Then what would I do? Next morning, I went to Baba with trepidation in my heart. I wanted to fall at his feet because you get a shock of your life when vibhuti appears in your hand and not Baba's hand. Real shock. I wanted to fall at his feet. Swami, please forgive me. I went. He had finished his breakfast and was going back to his room. Evng Narasimhamurti. And see, there were many ways in which he addressed us. Sreenivas knows better. Evng Sir. Evng Narasimhamurti. Third thing, Evng. Be understood what was his mood. Evng Sir, Swami, we will we can go on and on. When he says, Evng Narasimhamurti, we have to be slightly careful. When he says, Amy, sometimes Amy also will not come out. Sometimes Amy lay the sound. He said, Evng Narasimhamurti went near. Swami, 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 And he put his ear to my mouth. He said, Swami. You know what he said? He was the one who gave vibhuti in my hand previous day. What he is saying now, Narasimhamurti, this morning I had oil bath. Oil has got into my ears. I cannot hear you. Come again, and went away. How do you understand this? How do you understand this? Vinayak Krishna Gokak said, Swami, seeking your pardon, when we remember Baba, you also understand what it is. I will just quote one more incident and complete. Vinayaka Krishna Gokak, all of you know the stalwart, the great writer and Jnanapita Award winner, a gigantic, towering personality, who was the first Vice Chancellor of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning in Puttaparthi. And once he traveled with Baba to Mumbai. That was just then, see, in Andheri in Mumbai, many of you might know, Baba's mandir was built. Satyadeep, it was called Satyadeep. And thousands of people would gather there. And that Satyadeep was built on a mound, small kind of mound. And devotees gathered, thousands of them below that. And even after Baba gives darshan and goes back, the people would be shouting, Sai Baba, darshan de do, Sai Baba, darshan de do. And Baba would come out. That day he came out, went on the terrace of Satyadeep, and seeing the thousands of people, their love, Baba was so moved, and behind him was Vinayak Krishna Gokak, and he saw what was happening. His soul was touched. It was a soul-stirring experience for me, looking at devotees crying, Sai Baba darshan do. And Baba was not satisfied walking behind the parapet. He got on top of the parapet. Can you imagine? If suppose Baba falls down, this is what was going on in Gokak's mind, and he came back. And that night, when he retired, he was thinking to himself, what a fool I am. This is God himself. Nobody can understand him. How can we do any justice in what we are doing for him? He thought next morning, first thing he would do was, after his bath, he would go to Baba, fall flat at his feet, and seek his forgiveness for all the kind of liberties that he was taking. Many of us took a lot of liberties. Gokak was taking a lot of liberties with Baba. And he finished his bath, came out of the bathroom, just put on the clothes. There was a tap on the door. He opened, Baba was standing. And Baba is telling him, Gokak, I have forgotten my shaving brush. Can you give me your shaving brush? How do you understand him? Gokak felt he is omnipotent God. I should go and fall at his feet and seek forgiveness. And he says, he comes and taps on your door. I have forgotten my shaving brush. Can you give me your shaving brush? How do you understand him? No way. No way. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. I tell you, this is the same story with Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai also. We can't understand any divine personality. No way you can understand with the puny minds. One and the only way to understand them is what Nisargadatta Maharaj, the great Jnani who lived in Mumbai in the 70s, told one of his disciples when he asked him, pestered him, because he was a common devotee of both Sathya Sai Baba and Nisargadatta Maharaj. He pestered him. Maharaj, we can't understand Sai Baba. Please tell us. You understand, please tell us. He said only one sentence. Vain words and idle curiosity are of no avail on the spiritual path. Vain words and idle curiosity are of no help on the spiritual path. If you want to know Sathya Sai Baba, know yourself first. When you know who you are, only then you will know who is Sathya Sai Baba. Only when you know yourself, you will know who is Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. Till then, let us obey them. Enjoy his love and compassion and live with joy and bliss doing his work. Thank you very much. Sai Ram to you. Pray to Bhagawan, Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai for his benedictory message on this most wonderful evening. Thank you very much once again. Sai Ram to you.
मच्चित्ता मद्गतः प्राणा बोधयन्तः परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. This is what Sri Krishna says about his devotees. What do? All their mind and all their heart is invested in the Lord. Their life force, prana, is also invested in the Lord. And what do? They keep telling each other the stories of the Lord and revel in the joy of discussing and deliberating and remembering the glories of God. That is what these two were doing precisely till now. Chitrambulu, Vichitrambulu, Trailokya Pavitrambulu. Bhagavan used to say these leelas of Bhagavan are Chitrambulu, are very beautiful. Vichitrambulu. They are very strange and very unique also. Trailokya Pavitrambulu, they purify all the three worlds. Munijana Mana Pautrambulu, they are in the hearts of these munis. Muni means the devotees, the saintly ones. Vishnu Devani Charitrambulu, the leelas of God, the story of God. These are always in the heart of the devotees. And what do they enjoy the most? Talking about it, telling these stories to each other and reveling, enjoying this activity. On this sacred occasion, they brought back so many wonderful memories, experiences from their lives, which on one side talked about Mahato Mahiyan, the greatest of the great, that Bhagavan is, I will never say was, which were told by Sri Sreenivas ji, his omnipotence, his omnipresence, his omniscience. And on the other side, Narasimhamurti was telling about Anoraniyan, the small and little things that Bhagavan would do and confuse you and make you wonder whether this is the same Bhagavan who is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, who on the next morning asks you, what's your name, where have you come from for the nth time? Yes, it is the same Bhagavan. This is why Chitrambulu, Vichitrambulu. They are strange, they are very unique, they are very different. It's difficult to understand. And once when I had asked how to know you, he just bent over, looked into my eyes and told me, do you want to know me? Then become me. To know him is to become him. To become him is to know him. There is no other way to truly know who he is other than to become him. And how do you become him? does it mean to become him? That is the question we should ask on this day. And when I asked him, what are you? He said, I am pure, selfless love. This is his definition. I am pure, selfless love. Anybody who becomes pure, selfless love becomes me. In 2013 and 14, I did not understand the purport of these words. These were so intense, these were so pregnant with such tremendous spiritual meaning. But after several years of being and doing, I have understood that if you want to know God, you have to only know love. The one who knows love, that person alone knows God. And this is the message of today. If you want to know God, if you want to experience God, you have to become God. And the only way to become God is to become love. Love that transcends all barriers, all boundaries, all conditionalities. The love that is transcendental, the love that is equal, the love that is equanimous, the love that is detached, the love that always is ever present. Such love alone is divine. And this is what I have learnt in my experience of being with Bhagawan, that he is pure love, and anybody who can develop that pure love will experience that divinity, that Bhagawan, that Sai in him or her all the time. There is no doubt about it. There is no two ways about it. I am so thoroughly convinced about it. However, still, as avatars, as Lakshmi said, why do avatars come? Why do they take upon themselves this limited human identity? Why should they imprison themselves in this flesh and bone, the cage of flesh and bone, limit themselves? It's only out of love for the people. That also they do out of love only. Like a grandfather crawls on all the four, becomes a horse for the grandson. He may be the president of the country, but he becomes a horse for the child. Like that, God bends down, comes down, lowers himself to become one amongst us, so that we can understand what it is like to be God, what it is to experience God. How does God look, behave, talk, walk, and taste like? And that is what has happened when Bhagavan took avatar and became a 5 feet 3 inch body with its own limitations. It was only out of love, because he wanted to give us a glimpse of what it is to experience pure love. And every one of us, again I said, those who have been there and seen all that, experienced all that, they will second this. But even those who have not seen and not been and not having experienced physically, even then, if they experience this pure love in their heart, they can be very assured that they're experiencing Bhagavan in their heart. There is no different experience from that. And this is the conviction that we must develop about him. For me, he is never lost. As Sri Krishna says, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. The one who sees me in everything and everything in me, to such a person I am never lost, and such a person is never lost to me. If you see God in everything, in everyone, and everything and everyone as God, in God, then God is never lost to you and you are never lost to God. There is not a moment of separation. But how do we experience that? Physically, can you experience that? No. Because physicality has its limitations. But what transcends physicalities and barriers of time, space, and situations is this pure love. So the one who develops this pure love for all beings, all creation, for everyone, such a person is never lost to divinity, and divinity is never lost to such a person. Such a person always experiences the divine feelings within and without all the time, whether he is asleep or awake, whether he is active or inert. At all points of time, such a person experiences divinity. This is what we have to learn. The inspiration of Bhagavan is transformative, if only we intend to practice it in our lives. And every one of us has the same potential. We are made of the same thing. And he used to tell this from discourses. We have heard any number of discourses. I and you are one, I and you are one, I and you are one, he would repeat. And it was nice to hear everybody just clap and say, oh, how nice that Bhagawan compares himself with us and gives us the privilege of being seen and being equal to him. But we understood nothing of what he said. It was just a theoretical, intellectual joy that we derived from such sentences and clapped to our heart's content. But the truth of all truths was, he meant what he said. He said, you and I are one, not as physical beings, not even as devotee and the divine. You and I are one as one love that permeates, pervades, and does everything. And that love is the essence of all spirituality, all divinity, all that can ever be spoken about God and his devotees. Love alone is the truth, and that is the love that we are trying to practice. Why all this mission? I also would like to remember what happened in 2011 when the first Gulbarga campus was inaugurated. It was a very difficult task because it was the first time that we were doing something like this. And think of me who had no idea of architecture, constructions, or even working on a site or working with laborers, that too in a language that I never understood. Having gone through that experience, and then we were rushing to Raipur because Raipur hospital was about to be open. That was in 2012. So we finished the Gulbarga school inauguration and we were going to the airport, Hyderabad airport by road. And in my mind, I asked Bhagawan, okay, we will build one school and we will save a few children, we'll put them in school, get them education, they will come up in life. Good. We will build a hospital in Raipur, we will save a few children who are suffering with whatever diseases, and we will save them. But there are so many children who are born again in the world even today, and they are born in poor families with diseases. How far can we save every one of them? Do you think all that we do will ever be of any use to the whole world? We might not be able to, after all, make an impactful, transformative change in the world with one school or one hospital or whatever we are doing. This was bothering me as a question. And he spoke to me in my mind, in the car as we were going. He said, oh, inka nuvu idanta baal kosam chestunnava anukuntunnava? Oh, you're still thinking that all this I'm doing for their sake. Their sake means for the sake of the poor children, poor sick patients and things like that. No. Idanta nee meeda unde prema valla nee kosame chestunnanu, he said. I'm doing this out of my love for you, for your sake. I was perplexed. How is it for my sake? I finished my education. I hope I won't fall sick. I won't need these hospitals. Why would this hospital be for my sake or school be for my sake? But he said, out of my love for you, I'm doing it for your sake. Then I clarified. I asked, what do you mean by that? He said, I am doing this so that by becoming selfless, by doing all these activities, by becoming selfless, one day you will become me. This is what I am doing, and this is why I am doing it for your sake, not for the sake of the children somewhere. I didn't understand the sentence at that point in time. I was spiritually very young and green and immature. But as the time passed, I realized what he meant. I'm doing it for your sake, out of my love for you, because I want you to become selfless. I want you to become me. Become me doesn't mean become another Sai Baba. What he meant is become my essence. The essence of pure love, that is what you have to become. For that sake, I am building institutions through you. And one day, because of continuously working selflessly for this humanity, you will be able to experience that divinity within. Less of self, less of self, less of self, one day he said. One day you will become selfless. Less of self, less of self, less of self, you will become selfless. And this is what he did by instituting so many programs and creating so many institutions and giving opportunities to all of us to develop selfless love. Because where is the time to think about ourselves in this whole scheme of things? You're always thinking about somebody else's welfare. As what Sreenivas said just now. Every day we try to bring a smile to somebody, bring relief and succor to somebody in the same way as he would do. This is our contribution, this is our offering, this is our promise, this is what we do. And this is what he's making us all do through all these projects. Every time we open a school or a hospital or feed more children or shelter more destitutes, every time we are becoming a little more selfless, little more like him and little more unlike us, the old us, which only thinks about itself and nothing else. So every opportunity is an opportunity to grow into another divine being. And one day he told, the best way you can help me is to become me, because if one Sai Baba can do so much, imagine so many Sai Babas, how much can they do? Again, little did I understand the meaning of those words. But here we are. After years of doing what we are doing, slowly we are seeing these changes within us. So yes, the glory of Bhagawan does not just lie in his past. It lies in the present, now and here, with each one of us. What we do with this opportunity, how we use it, how we follow his words, and how we slowly, less of self, become selfless Bhagavan one day. That is the opportunity, that is the reminder these birthday celebrations bring to us. So every time we think of a birthday of Bhagavan, I just can't bring myself to think of birth and death of Bhagavan. All the more because there is no way I don't experience it. As I said, Tasyaham na pranashyami. He's not lost to me. I am not lost to him. All the time, any time he had promised that you think of me, I'll be there. I'm just a thought away. And he has kept this promise. At the same time, also he told me, don't keep calling me and asking me things. Depend on your own intuition. That is the other side of the story. Again, as I said, he speaks both ways, and you have to apply the message according to the situations. Don't disturb me unwantedly, unnecessarily. Don't keep asking me. Depend on your intuition. Be confident, be courageous, he tells on one side. And many times when I remember and ask him, he says, Nik telusu kada chesko. You know, isn't it? Do it. Why do you disturb me every time? On the other side, as I said, he would also want to be with us. He would also want to be around us. And this also I have seen. When I don't see him for too long, and he will come and say, Emi nanne marchipoyavu. You have forgotten me. I said, one side you say, don't call me and disturb me. On the other side, I say, you say, you have forgotten me. So Bhagavan is like that. The purity of his, he lives in the present, you see. He does according to what is needed today. He's not living in the past or in the future like most of us. So he does that. So he is very much within us, around us, above us, below us, whichever way you want to say it. Because he is us. If he was another person than us, then there is a question of when to meet him, what to talk to him, how to go. But he is us. He is not just one of us. He is us. And this is the ultimate truth which we all are here to realize. That is why when he told me, teach Advaita to these people. Dvaita Bhava nunchi Advaita tiskellu, he told me. Take them from Dvaita Bhava to Advaita Bhava. This is my command. And so I had to read up a lot of Advaita literature, because while one side I can say, but if it isn't said in a way that people understand, it will just go over the head, as most of the time discourses went. So again we had to practice. So on one side, as I said, Bhagavan's Dvaita is beautiful. As a devotee, you enjoy that. But at the same time, be extremely aware that beyond these exists that ultimate truth where we can know him by becoming him. There is no other shortcut to this. There is no other way. Naanya panta ayanaya vidyate. There is only one way to know him, which is to become him. So don't try to understand him, analyze him. The more you do, the more it will get complicated. The better thing is to just experience him. And how do you experience him? Whenever you love somebody, you will experience him. Whenever you do unconditional, selfless work, you experience him. In different ways. In different ways. In the patient smile, you will experience his presence. In the relief that a mother comes and mother has when she delivers a baby who is under complications, that relief is him. When some children drink that Saishwar in the morning and then they burp because they have been hungry all day long, and that sound of that burp, it is him. And when I hear our children chant the Vedas and sing songs and do all the activities in all these institutions, I experience his presence because he is animating everything over here. So yes, on this occasion we do remember and rejoice in the stories and the glory of Bhagavan, which is our treasure, which is the only treasure that we have in our lives. What else can we boast of as our own, other than the experiences and the grace that we all have experienced? But beyond that exists this reality of his ultimate existence, which is pure, selfless love. So by the time it's 100th birthday, what can we do for him? And we can't do anything for him, that's a different matter. But for the sake of speaking, what can we do for him? Become him. Becoming him means unbecoming us. Unbecoming us means getting rid of all that which is not like him in us. All that is selfish, all that is self-centered, all that is negative is not him in us. And that is what has to be chipped away, to be gotten rid of, so that by 100th year, when we come back again to celebrate it in a grander way, we are more like him and less like ourselves. And that is how that we can give our greatest tribute to a master, by following in his footsteps and becoming him ultimately. This is the greatest joy of the master, when he sees the disciple himself has become a teacher. And that is possible for every one of us, and that is so very doable in today's times, because of all the situations and opportunities that have been given to us. So may every one of us put our efforts sincerely to realize that ultimate truth of pure love, which is divinity, and experience that not just on Monday and not on Tuesday, but on all days, at all times, in all places. Let that love become omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent in all of us. That is the realization that we should work towards. And with these words, I would conclude, and with lot of blessings to all the devotees who are watching from around the world. All of them could not come, because I personally told them, please save your leaves and holidays and also money for next year, because you can come here and stay longer. So don't come this year, don't spend on coming and staying. Save all your leaves so that you can be here for 100 days next year. So most of them have done that. And next year, between August and November, we have 100 days grand celebrations. Again, as I said, the best celebration is to celebrate him in all of us as pure love. But for the sake of what we need to do, we will have 100 days of very wonderful celebrations from 100 countries. Bhuvna just returned from her global tour, and she told me that now our mission is in 80 countries, 80. Some seva is happening in Bhagawan's name in 80 countries. And I'm sure by the time we are in the 100th birthday celebrations, there will be 100 countries here. Every country, every day will get an opportunity to present their culture, their spirituality, their service activities, so that we all can learn and rejoice that the world is changing one country at a time. And this is the power of Bhagawan's love that is now encompassing the whole world in its embrace. But that is the job ahead. I'm sure we will succeed, because there is no other way. He told me once, you can't afford to fail. You have to succeed, he said. There is no other way. You have to succeed, because if you don't succeed, nobody will succeed. So he put such a huge responsibility on us that you have no choice but to succeed, whatever it takes. So to transform the world, there is no other way. We have to work, and the best way to start is to transform ourselves, and through us, the whole world. Our heartfelt gratitude to every one of you who works day and night in this mission for the love of Bhagawan, for the sake of pleasing that divine, not for any other sake. To all of you, lot of blessings for this 99th birthday celebrations, and to the students and staff and those who are here present, you are very fortunate. Perhaps at this point of time, you will not understand the magnitude of this blessing, and I don't expect that also. But as you mature in your own, spirituality, you will realize one day what has been given to you, how blessed you are. And that you will know only after some time, but so be it. One day you will realize that, and you will do more for more people. That is my wish and prayer. And to, of course, there were 3 wise men, actually, Tiger also. Generally, he would be there to talk. He's in the US now, and he's also, aging, so we don't want to disturb him. But then these 2 are here who have been there with Bhagawan for over 5 decades, and continue to serve in his name. And I look forward to a day when everybody is happy. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu nirameha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkham apnuyat. May all be happy, may all be healthy, may all see good and auspicious everywhere, may no one have any sorrow. That is the ultimate offering to Bhagavan. With this prayer and with this pledge that we shall not stop until we succeed, we will continue the march towards our own divinity, and through that the divinity of the entire creation. With these flowers of gratitude at his feet, I conclude, and I also would like to thank the Prakashana team for going on spreading the word of God to the world. A lot of blessings to all of them for their efforts.
Thank you, Swami, for your love and blessings. We will now have a short break for 10 minutes, after which we shall have a music concert by Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Saab. Thank you.